Okay, sorry, this is the second part to this video. My storage was full on my phone from all these videos. So the second part is that I've added all the eggs in now. At least you didn't have to listen to all that squelchy noise. And now what I've got is a very thick batter mixture. I've got a small piping bag, but if I didn't have a piping bag, a food bag, plastic food bag, works exactly the same. It's just different shape slightly. You can still cut the edge off it to pipe and fill it up. It works just as well. I've put this over my measuring conical or a measuring jug just so it'll drop into the piping bag if I haven't got anyone to help me. And then I pull up my edges, and then this is what everybody loves to do, but we have had a few disasters. I'll see. We've had a couple of people do this with results of splatter on my ceiling in my food room. You take the piping bag and you give it a whiz round, but what you don't do is cut the bottom of it. So you whiz it round and it drops to the bottom of the piping bag, and then you cut the tip off using, of course it'd be lovely to have a pair of scissors, but everybody steals them. Then you take the piping bag with the choux pastry, and here's my tray here. I'm just going to move it so you can see it slightly better, and we push the mixture out and lift up. Push up, and these are choux buns. These are profiteroles, we would know them as. Whatever you choose to do, try and keep them the same size, and remember they do expand. Don't worry if they're like mine, a little bit pointy, because I'm going to show you a way of sorting that out in a moment. I haven't ever flavoured my choux, and I'm not quite sure how it would work. You could give it a shot, but I just worry that it might not work. So these don't look particularly good because they're all falling over, but just push the mixture out, that's fine. Keep them, as I say, a similar size. I always just give it a little twist, and that normally helps actually. Push it and then give it a little twist. And twist it. And you see, when you do it that method, they don't have quite such pointy bits there. So push the choux out, twist the piping bag or the food bag, but you can just spoon it out as well, just with a teaspoon. That also works. Once you've done that, you want to get yourself some water, and you're going to take your fingers and just smooth it down. Now, you don't have to do this, but it just, again, it's just about that nice professional finish to it. The good thing is we seem to be able to now get eggs quite readily available. It was obviously just at the start of the lockdown we were having problems with some restrictions. I've deliberately not done anything with yeast because that still seems to be one ingredient we are not able to get hold of very easily. So I've tried to stay away from that. I'm going to try and put a few other videos onto my YouTube page. A couple of kind of quick hack ideas. For example, lots of people buy ready prepared sauces for things like stir fries and so on. In actual fact, it's really easy to make your own sauces using corn flour and mixing some nice ingredients together. So one of the ones I like to do for stir fry is soy sauce, honey, some Chinese 5-spice, and then I might add a little bit of water just to thin it down. I add corn flour, mix it all together, add it into my stir fry. The corn flour thickens up and you get this lovely glossy sauce, and I make all my sauces virtually doing something similar. I've obviously got some kind of notification coming through on my Echo thing. There's a parcel coming as usual. Anyway, that's my choux pastry, choux buns even. They're going to go into the oven, and hopefully when they come out, they are going to move around on the tray because that shows that all the steam has been evaporated. They're going to dextrinize. That means they're going golden brown. But it's very important not to take them out too early because they will go, all the steam will just escape and it'll drop them down. So you want to make sure those eggs are coagulated, they're set firm. So put them in for a little bit longer than you might want to. They will go a little bit browner and you might think, oh, they're starting to go too brown. That's okay, because you're going to cover them in chocolate sauce potentially or icing, and I'll show you the next stage in a moment. Okay, so the choux buns are out of the oven, and as you can see they're sort of moving around, so I know that they're cooked. They're nice and sort of firm to touch. They're quite small, but that's kind of what I was going for, this sort of size. I didn't want them too big. You can get ones that are huge. And they're nice and firm. I can hear them when I tap it. It's nice and hollow. So they're going to cool down now. In here, I have used the saucepan where I had the choux pastry in it. I have filled it with water. This is called a double boiler. And in here, I have got chocolate, a little bit of butter, some icing sugar and a splash of water, and that makes a really lovely sort of chocolate glaze that you can dip the profiteroles into. A very gentle method of cooking when you don't want to burn. I'm awful for burning chocolate whenever I put it into the microwave. So this is a much gentler method to use. And I would suggest using this one, especially if you're using one of the big branded chocolates, because they often use cream and milk to make them lovely to taste, but they're not so good to cook with because they tend to separate or split. So that's going to be melting, and I'm going to start, once the pastries have cooled down, I'm going to fill them also with the cream that I was telling you about, and I'll show you how to make that in just a moment. So I've just taken the chocolate that was melting on the double boiler off of the saucepan. Remember to wear a pair of oven gloves, because when you lift it up, the steam, it's actually burnt the sides of my hands before steam rises up and burns you. So now I'm moving on to the cream. I've got double cream. It has to be a heavy cream, they call it. Heavy cream meaning it's a whipping or a double cream. Don't use any squishy creams, these aerated cans, because they're just full of air and they don't hold any kind of, they don't hold its weight. So when you go to fill the choux pastries, it'll just disintegrate to liquid. In here I have the double cream or the whipping cream, and I've added in about 50 grams of icing sugar. Not necessary if you don't want to. And the other thing, super expensive at the moment, is this is a vanilla bean paste. I could use vanilla pods, but they're so expensive that I'm just going to go with a slight cheat on this one. The other thing that I like to use is, I'm using a sort of fresh cream, but I like using, you can buy this cream out of the supermarkets, it's called like an alternative cream. It's like a UHT cream, which means it's got an extended shelf life. And they're brilliant when we first went into lockdown because they last forever in the cupboard, and you can cook with them, you can whisk them up for things like this. They're really, really versatile, so I like using those. So I'm going to whisk this up. And it's super important you don't over whisk it. So when you're doing this, as it starts to thicken, reduce the speed right down. So I'm looking for it to start leaving little trails around itself. Okay, so I've made, this is like a chantilly cream with the icing sugar and the vanilla, but even more complex is if you can make something called a creme patisserie, which is basically like a thick custard. It's like a thick French custard, and that's really nice to put in them as well. Once you've got it to this point, it is really important to stop because it will split, it'll divide into a liquid, and the fat will all clump together, and it's not very nice texture wise. Once again, my handy little conical, I'm going to scoop up the cream and pop it into my piping bag. Again, I haven't cut the bottom yet. And there we go. That's not high in fat at all. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of a fork and I'm just going to like make a little kind of hole in the side of the choux. Move this out the way now. And there's the cream. Cut the end off again. As you can see, I've still not managed to get a pair of scissors. Make sure you don't cut too much off. You want a very fine sort of little gap at the bottom here, because the plan is to pop the piping bag into the profiterole and squeeze. Now, I'm not too bothered about the little side bit here, and then, but I mean, in supermarkets, they don't tend to have that because they have machines that do it. And I've just dipped it into my chocolate sauce, and that is pretty much a perfect little profiterole there. I'll just show you a couple more, and then I don't know if in the background you can hear the noise that my two are making, but we're going to go and take two out and see what their reaction is. See if they think they're any good. They were supposed to make them with me, but as usual, YouTube was far more important. So again, but you can make long ones, which we call eclairs, and then these would go into the fridge, and the nice glaze on them would become much firmer, but it won't set like chocolate. Just to show you, this is my sort of chocolate mixture there, my sauce. So I'm going to pop these on a plate, and what we're going to do is we're going to go outside and try and show them and see what they think of them. So it'd be great if I dropped them now, wouldn't it? It's one of the first things that my kids made, actually, so they better be impressed with it. Right, you two, look what I've been making for my class.
Yay!
What do you think these are?
What are they called?
What do you think they're called? Do you remember?
No.
They're called
What are they called?
profiteroles. Gosh, I'm a great food teacher. My children don't even know what these are.
I forgot!
Do they look good?
They look really, really good.
Good, okay. So, this is challenge 3. This is for you guys to try and make maybe some choux pastry. Good luck with it, and hopefully you'll remember the name, unlike my two, which will be good. Take care, bye.